A lot of people in prison talk about what they're going to do, but not a lot of people follow through. Because in prison, it's super simple to get caught up in excuses and saying, it's not my fault. The system doesn't allow this. The system doesn't allow that. As somebody who went through it for 26 years, I learned that a person has to be diligent. A person has to be 100% committed to preparing for success regardless of what anybody else does, regardless of external circumstances. I didn't learn that really at the beginning of my journey. In fact, it's one of the reasons that I got a 45-year sentence. Is when I got arrested, the only thing I was thinking about was I wanted to just get out of prison or get out of jail, but I wasn't really thinking about the problems that I had created that put me in that situation in the first place. It wasn't until an officer gave me this book about Frederick Douglass that I started to think, how can I do it differently? How can I live my life differently? How can I get through this journey with a high level of discipline and energy and focus, even though I'm facing a life sentence? And it was by asking those kinds of questions that led to our 10-part program that we call Preparing for Success After Prison. I'm going to remind you of them. Number one, you got to start by defining success. When I was locked in that solitary housing unit, I hated being in prison. If you hate being incarcerated, now is the time to start thinking about a better life and what can you do to get there. Two, if you know what it looks like, then you've got to set those goals. Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, time-bound, smart goals that align with how you define success. Then it's just about pursuing the straight A guide. You got to have the right attitude. You got to aspire to something better. You got to take action. You got to hold yourself accountable. You got to be aware, keeping your head in the game. You have to be authentic, creating your own tools, tactics, and resources that will help you accelerate success. You've got to celebrate every achievement, and you have got to live in gratitude. And if you follow that 10-step plan, I'm very confident your life is going to improve, but you've got to be diligent about it. And that's what our lesson is about today. It's about diligence. So I want to turn to that lesson. It's lesson number 22 in our course, Preparing for Success After Prison. And this, remember, is just a course to teach other people how to teach themselves. We don't make excuses. We succeed regardless of what challenges we're working toward. And you've got to embrace diligence. That's our word of the day, diligence. Be careful and you're persistent. Be careful and persistent in all of your work, in all of your efforts, and more opportunities will open. Had I learned that early, I wouldn't have gotten a 45-year sentence. But, it's never too early and it's never too late to start sowing seeds for a better life. So what is the lesson content for lesson number 22? Diligence. It means diligence is a virtue that speaks to the quality of our work and our commitment to carrying tasks through to completion. For most people in prison, a time will come when the gates open. Even people who serve life sentences have an opportunity to argue for a higher level of liberty at some point. For that reason, each person should be diligent about preparing for success after prison. A lack of diligence can lead to cascading problems after release. Consider the example of James and Juan, people with contrasting stories. At one point, they were on a similar path, but they took vastly different approaches to their circumstances. Both James and Juan served time in prison for similar offenses. And during their incarceration, they each had the opportunity to access self-study programs to enhance their knowledge and skills. However, their reactions to this chance set them on a contrasting journey. One chose to be diligent in his preparations for success, and the other didn't care about preparing. Juan, an opportunistic and determined individual, recognized the importance of diligent self-improvement, and he took full advantage of available resources. He didn't wait for the system to offer courses or credits. Juan immersed himself in various self-directed study materials. He learned to communicate better, and he learned better math skills. Those efforts led to studies ranging from entrepreneurship to finance. Juan dreamed of creating a brighter future for himself and others. After he got out, Juan had a solid foundation of knowledge and skills. He combined his newfound understanding of business with his passion and creativity, eventually founding a successful company. Juan created a thriving business through hard work, dedication, and the ability to adapt. He also became an inspiration to others who faced similar challenges. On the other hand, James held a more cynical perspective during his time behind bars. Rather than engineering a diligent adjustment strategy, he complained. He argued that the system didn't allow him to improve his situation. He dismissed the idea of self-study programs, believing they were a waste of time. Upon his release, James faced a series of difficulties. Without the skills and knowledge necessary to secure stable employment, he struggled to find suitable work. His lack of preparation during his time in prison left him ill-equipped to reintegrate into society. His failure to prepare diligently led to further problems, such as homelessness and brushes with the law, which only compounded his challenges. The divergent paths of Juan and James highlight the significance of personal initiative and diligent self-improvement, even in the face of adversity. While Juan embraced the opportunity to grow and acquire valuable knowledge and skills, neglect perpetuated problems for James. The story of James and Juan reminds us that regardless of circumstances, we make daily choices. Our actions can profoundly impact our lives. It is a testament to the transformative power of determination, resilience, and personal growth. Consider the valuable lessons contained within this tale. Just as Juan built a successful future through his diligent preparation and perseverance, so can you overcome challenges and create a path toward prosperity. If you're diligent, you'll do things carefully, consistently, and to the best of your ability. In personal development, particularly while incarcerated, embracing diligence can be transformative. The following steps may foster diligence for personal development. Set clear goals. Start by outlining what you want to achieve. Master a new skill. Improve physical fitness or nurture emotional well-being. Create a plan. Once you set your goals, create a plan to achieve them. Break down each goal into smaller, manageable tasks and commit to completing these tasks diligently. Set priorities. As Stephen Covey wrote in The 7 Habits, ensure you put first things first. You've got to take little steps to open new opportunities later. Consistency. Be consistent in your efforts. Diligence isn't about making one significant effort. It's about the small, regular steps that lead to substantial change over time. Focus. Concentrate on the task at hand. Maintaining focus in an environment full of distractions is an act of diligence that can significantly enhance your personal development. Patience. Practice patience. Achieving goals takes time, and diligence means persisting despite slow progress. If you follow this path and memorialize your efforts, others will notice when you begin to self-advocate in the future. So here are some questions and activities for you. Start by just thinking and meditating on these questions and then answer them, knowing that the more you invest in yourself, the more you are preparing for success after prison. So how do you understand the concept of diligence? Why do you think diligence can lead to personal development? Share a recent example when you demonstrated diligence in accomplishing a task or pursuing a goal. How did your diligence contribute to your personal growth? How can practicing diligence help you prepare for a successful life after release? What specific tasks or goals are you pursuing diligently during your time in prison? And here are some activities. Reflect on a recent task or goal you've worked on. Write down how you demonstrated diligence in this process and what you learned from it. Identify one new approach you could adopt to enhance your diligence further. Remember, diligence is about the journey, not just the destination. It is about embracing the process, being committed to your tasks, and doing them to the best of your ability. As you continue to grow and develop in prison, the diligence you cultivate now will form a strong foundation for your success upon release. And as I like to remember to do, there is our address for those who want to write us at Prison Professors, 32565 Golden Lantern, Suite B1026 in sunny Dana Point, California, 92629. For those who want to participate in our program of memorializing your journey and your pathway to success, send an email to our amazing interns at prisonprofessorstalent.com. That's interns at prisonprofessorstalent.com. And our interns will follow up by giving you some guidance on to prompt you in memorializing your journey. That's how you can show diligence. And while I was waiting to film this video, I was just looking back at what were some of the strategies. I mean, all that strategy, memorializing my journey through prison, opened so many opportunities for me. But I was looking through some of my early days of when I got out of prison, and that led me to my YouTube channel. And I looked at the oldest one here, and you can see it. This is 10 years ago, right? It hasn't quite been 10 years since I got out of prison. And I don't know if you could see it that well on this screen right here, but I would love it if my video editor, who's amazing, his name is Jonathan from Brazil, could tap into this video to show you.
25 years ago, I walked into prison without a sense of direction. I was 23 years old. I was afraid. I didn't know how long I was going to be in. I didn't know what I'd be able to do while I was in there. But over the course of the next year, while I was preparing myself, during that interim stage between the day I was convicted and the day I was sentenced, I set this plan in motion to start preparing myself for the day that I got out. And miraculously, that day came about 3 weeks ago, on August 13th, 2012. And during the last 18 days, or these first 18 days of my liberty, a lot of amazing things have happened. I've been contacted by professors from as far away as Hawaii, as far away as New York, and numerous states in between. I have luncheons set up over the next couple of weeks, or meetings scheduled with some of the most distinguished academics in the United States, from Stanford University, from Berkeley University, who will meet me in person, and from other universities with whom I'm going to conference over the telephone. And the purpose of those meetings is to emphasize the changes that we need to make in America so that more people can emerge from prison with values, skills, and opportunities and resources that will enable them to transition into society as law-abiding, contributing citizens. That's my mission in life, to try and help people overcome adversity, to help people understand the steps that they can take to look deep within themselves and find the discipline necessary to sustain a committed, deliberate course of action that will help them overcome the struggles of imprisonment and enjoy happiness and fulfillment for the rest of their lives as law-abiding Americans. So I'm looking forward to the development of those programs, and I certainly will be sharing them with you here on this website. Thank you for your time.
Because if you can tap into that video there, you can go just to my YouTube channel at prisonprofessors.com, and on that channel you can go back to videos on that tab and then just go to the oldest. And the reason I want you to see this particular video is it's showing my diligence at the start, right within days of getting out of prison. I don't think it shows the day that I got out. But I got out on August the 13th, 2012 was when I transitioned to what do you call it? A halfway house. And I still remember sitting just before I surrendered to the halfway house and filming this video. And I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I'd never sent an email before. I'd never I didn't know how to use an iPhone. This is what an iPhone looks like for those who don't know. But I just said, okay, I'm going to be diligent about what I'm doing. And so I do remember just sitting there and figuring out, okay, well, this is what an iTunes phone is. I'm going to start recording all the strategies I've done. And since then, I've filmed more than 1,000 videos, and I produce content every day because this is the way I try to be the change that I want to see in the world. I try and show people how do I sow seeds today for what I want to become. And if you build that record, it's like building a resume. I want you to start building your resume right now by preparing for success after prison. And the sooner you start, the better off you are. We offer these courses. Adova offers premium courses that we would encourage you to look at if you really want to invest in yourself. And of course, we offer a lot of free information because I'm deeply committed to trying to help as many people as I possibly can prepare for success after prison. That's the way we could be the change that we want to see. My name is Michael Santos. I'm the founder of Prison Professors, and I believe in you.